Uh-oh. You know what? Like, I'm just shocked at how many people follow suit with, like, what she says, like the other timekeepers.
She's the boss.
Yeah, but right here where he says, wherever it is, I'm really fun, wherever I had before the TVA came, you think that maybe he had a jet ski? That's what we talked about last episode. I think he had a jet ski. But, I guess they're going to... Oh!
No! Mobius!
No!
What?
Oh, say it ain't so. My gosh.
That hurt.
Oh, that
really,
did
really
hurt. That can't be
it hurt Loki, too.
That did hurt, yeah.
Look at Loki.
Uh-oh. See, dude, something's wrong with her, man. She's in on this. I don't know how, but she is in on clearly she's in on this.
I thought Mobius was like our favorite analyst, and she killed him without
I guess not.
second thought.
I'd hate to be your least favorite analyst. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Legally Caffeinated. I'm Frank Esquire. This is
Shuaib Esquire.
And we are
legally caffeinated.
This is the Loki Legal Breakdown. This is episode 4, reactions, and some questions, details, lawyerly stuff that you might have missed. First thing I gotta say about this is spoiler alert if you're watching.
Oh yeah, big spoilers.
Now. Yeah, turn off now. Loki, I didn't know what to think. When Mobius first got pruned, I thought, all right, he's done for, but they've got to find a way to bring him back. My mind's racing. Are they going to find him on the sacred timeline somewhere? But then, once Loki getting pruned, that totally threw me for a loop.
That was crazy. But at that point, you knew that something pruning isn't all it is cracked up to be. Like something had to happen.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Mobius getting pruned hurt. I was shocked.
Hurt. Yeah, I was. It pulled on the heartstrings for sure. And then when Loki gets pruned, then you're like, all right, they're bringing him back somehow. Or I don't know. Some part of me was like, are they gonna find another Loki? What's going on? But if you haven't watched, there is a post-credit scene.
Yes,
and in the post-credit scene, watch the post-credit scene. Loki wakes up. Seemingly, there's other Lokis there.
Yeah.
Like there's Lokis that don't look like Tom Hiddleston. The other Lokis in episode 1 look like Tom Hiddleston, or maybe it was episode 2. But these aren't Tom Hiddleston. They're just
there's Black Loki. There's Child Loki, or there's adolescent boy Loki. There's Lizard Loki. And there's Old Man Loki.
Yeah, you know what though? I'm still sticking by my theory that Loki's already running the TVA.
I agree.
Because I thought when they went to the Timekeepers and it showed these, the lizard men, the 3 old lizard men, I thought, all right, well, I guess I was wrong. I guess the Timekeepers are real. But when Sylvie decapitates one of them with the sword and then finds out it's an animatronic, it's like, no, this is all Loki.
Yeah,
I don't know how. This is Loki.
Loki doesn't destroy what happened to Loki can't be what happens, right? It can't. They don't just prune everybody and they go to this other universe or other place. I think what happens is Loki will not allow his variants to be destroyed. His variants are kept someplace. And she knows that, the Slayer.
Ravonna.
She knows that, and she set him there. Because think about this, right? Why didn't they ever use the other end of that staff while they were fighting Loki and Sylvie? All they had to do was jab at them. Nobody ever did that.
No, you're right. Loki was straight up, stabbing people, and so was Sylvie.
Yeah.
But when they get Loki, Ravonna could have stabbed him too or killed him too, but instead she prunes him, and she pruned Mobius, and I think she might be the only one that knows when you prune someone where they go. But I think you're right. I think Loki's in charge, and you're right, he just wouldn't let the other Lokis be destroyed, so you prune them and send them wherever it goes. It's kind of like the Mind Stone, I think, or the Soul Stone.
Let's go back to the beginning, because there was so much in this episode we would miss a lot if we jumped around. So in the beginning of the episode, you find out that Loki and Sylvie kind of, now I want to say fall in love, that might be dramatic, but they were forming feelings for each other in that moment. I mean, something was happening before they came and found them, which was crazy.
Yeah, which is like, I'm thinking about it as I'm watching, like, Mobius is like, this is gross, boo, you guys are disgusting. But you're like, all right, like, I mean, like, do they don't really have the same, I don't know. It's a question that's, like, clearly gonna have to be, I don't know, I don't know if I can dissect right now or in the short time we're doing this breakdown, but you're right. I mean, beginning, they're feeling something. And one of the questions I had was, if you want the variants destroyed, you would have left them on Lamentus, right? Because even if there was a Nexus event that created a branch in the timeline, when Lamentus and Loki and Sylvie were destroyed, the branch would have went away. So I don't think that they want Sylvie and Loki destroyed. I mean, they brought them up there, and Ravonna said she brought them up there and they were going to prune them. But really, I guess you don't really know what that was going to happen when they got brought up, like, in the elevators to the animatronic timekeepers.
That's a really good point, right? They could have allowed them to stay on Lamentus. They would have been destroyed, problem solved. They bring them back. They interrogate them. However, they don't at one point try to delete them or get rid of them. And then when she brings them in front of the timekeepers, again, they don't delete them there. I don't know what was the point of them even coming in front of the timekeepers. The timekeepers, they didn't say much to them to substantiate them being there. And then when they were fighting them, nobody tries to end them with the staff. Nobody.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of a little telling that I'm still sticking to it that this is another Loki. He called them, the one timekeeper called Sylvia Cosmic Disappointment. And I just thought that was weird verbiage that he used to call her a cosmic disappointment. I feel like that's something Loki would say, like he thinks that he was the superior Loki, calling another Loki like you're a disappointment. I think that ultimately, you know what, we have not seen, and this could be just Marvel, because in the Avengers Endgame, they had the scene of, Cap and Black Panther and them all running, and Hulk all running through the forest, and that was never actually in the movie. So one of the scenes from the trailer has Loki with vote for Loki on it, and maybe that's gonna be, and we have 2 more episodes. Maybe it's gonna be in another 2 episodes, or maybe it's not. But I'm still thinking that he already is in control of the TVA.
Makes sense. Another question is, what was Sylvie's Nexus? And she asked that question. She was a little girl. She was born. Was the Nexus event her being born a girl instead of being born a boy, like all the other Lokis? Was that what caused them to come and grab her as a child? Because we were right. Remember, we called it that she had to have been taken as a child and actually went through the process to know what the TVA was and to get one of the travel portal game pads, right?
Oh, I think you're right. Because all the Lokis that were pruned look different. They don't look like Tom Hiddleston. Yeah. So, and they took this Loki, which I'm still not convinced that, like, why they took him, Tom Hiddleston's Loki. But he was taken too. But all the other Lokis that he goes, wherever he is that he goes to, they all look different. So it's not like there's other Tom Hiddlestons there. So I think you're right. Maybe that's it. Maybe that was her Nexus event, just being born a girl, and that's being born Sylvie, and that's what it was.
So she probably is the first one. Because on their timeline, they're supposed to have a boy. They have a girl, but that couldn't be the case because she was born years ago, right? If the Nexus was her being born a girl, then they would have taken her in the beginning from the womb and then switched the timeline back. So I wonder what her Nexus was that caused him to come grab her.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. You know what also I noticed? And I said this before, where I thought the TVA, like, no magic works in the TVA, right? Yeah. Nothing. And I thought that it had a very, like, Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff theme, where at the end of WandaVision, she puts runes all over the hex. There are runes on the walls in the Timekeeper's lair. Really? Oh, really? If you didn't notice, there are runes there are red runes Just like, I mean, the Scarlet Witch, like hers were red. I'm not assuming if that's just. I mean, I guess I'm guessing that that's just germane, just specifically to her. But there were red runes on the walls in the Timekeeper's lair or their throne room or whatever, whatever you want to call it.
Did Loki have anything to do with the death of Scarlet Witch's brother or anybody?
That was Pietro died in Age of Ultron, so yeah, I mean he wasn't included in that. I mean, but it just goes to the other theory that like someone is in control of the TVA, not these Timekeepers. Either it was taking control. Maybe they started it, or they started writing the sacred timeline, or time itself in general. But at some point, they ceased to exist, and now animatronics are in their place, and someone created the TVA because it wasn't the Timekeepers.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Here's a crazy scene. So we kind of called it with Hunter B-15 having a big role in discovering, that she was a variant, and when she woke up from the Roxy Cart department store, that she saw something that.
Yeah, you called it, man. Because she looked like something was up. She was looking around and she was scared.
She saw a memory and she wanted to see that memory again, and so she believed what Sylvie told her. But what was the plan?
Wait, before you go farther, can I talk? I'm a little disappointed they didn't show her memory.
Exactly, I thought they were. Yeah.
They took her to the parking lot, or Sylvie takes her to the parking lot and shows her memory, and I'm waiting for it. Like, what's her memory? Nothing. I mean, like, what was up with Marvel? Was it like they were just like, we need to get this out?
Exactly.
The budget, we have budgetary issues. Like, let's just publish this. Like, hey, we're not showing her memory. Just have her smile.
And it was so quick. It was like zip, zip, in and out.
She's like, I look so happy, and that was basically it. We didn't get to see what her memory was.
Maybe her rest of her life was not happy, so Sylvie showed like one quick happy part, happiness before the sadness came in. But what was their plan ultimately, right? What was their plan for B-15? She says, "Follow me, do what I say, whatever." So they get back. She has the code for their neck braces. How did they know they were going to take Sylvie and Loki to see the Timekeepers? And how did she get on the elevator? Like, why would they let her up? Because prior to going to see the Timekeepers, Slayer, unless she killed the guys, but Slayer told them to go look for her. They wanted her.
Yeah. Right. So how did she get up there? You're right. Or maybe she just like zapped herself up there. I don't know with the time pens. But
she would have to fight the guys. She would have to fight the guys at the elevator. And I think they should at least shown her. We already knew they were working together, so that wasn't a shock when the elevator doors opened and you saw her there. The only shock was, how does she get up there?
Yeah. You know what they didn't show? They didn't show her getting pruned either. She's got knocked out.
Yeah, she did get pruned. So she's still there.
She's still alive. Yeah, she's still there. But I guess everybody's still there. I guess wherever Loki went, all the variants are. And this is where I think it leads into Far From Home and Multiverse of Madness. I mean, you're wondering how the multiverse works. Like, where are these other Peter Parkers, Andrew Garfield, Toby McGuire? And I think that this is how it's going to set up No Way Home, is that what you have right here is, if this is a place that all variants go to, then all variants are there. And, there can only be one Peter Parker on the sacred timeline, and it's not Andrew Garfield anymore or Toby McGuire, so they have to be variants. So maybe they're all in this, I don't know, variant prison. Somehow they're going to get let out, and that's how it leads to Far From Home. Because I think what was a Homecoming, and then Far From Home, No Way Home is the second one. So Far From Home was the second one, which takes place I'm assuming after the events that are going on right now. So this is how I think some of the villains from the other Spider-Mans get let out into No Way Home.
It's interesting that they don't. The pruning isn't being destroyed. It's just placing you somewhere in, like you said, a variant prison where all the variants go.
Yeah. It's
what's
a little
the point
weird.
Of everything then? What's the point of the trial? What's the point of seeing a judge? What's the point of any of it if you're just going to be sent, regardless of if you're found not guilty? What happens? You go back to Earth?
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess you're creating your own timelines in this spot. I don't know. I mean, they showed the branch of the Nexus event. I still don't know what that is, because if they would have just let them get destroyed or Lamentus, that branch would in theory have been left. But I mean, we did call it that Mobius was going to show, like they were going to get rescued by the TVA, and that much became. Exactly. And that much became more evident with the trailers, because the trailer showed Sylvie and Loki both collared up and back at the TVA. So, I mean, that wasn't a secret. But now it's just, who else is in there with Loki? Is he going to find Mobius? Is he going to find the other hunters? Are we going to have cameos from other... Like, as soon as I saw this, and I thought, all right, well, we got No Way Home coming up, Spider-Man in December. There's no trailers that's been released, which I think it's a little weird.
So that comes out in December?
December. And there hasn't... Every time there's going to be a trailer, right? It's some sort of joke, or it's some sort of like, it's like Marvel psyching you out. You think there's going to be a trailer, and they're just basically clowning people, and there has to be a reason, I think, why they've clowned people, and they haven't released any trailers whatsoever. And I think we're going to find out in Loki that they had to wait till Loki was over, and then boom, there's going to be. I think this is going to completely tie in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the next episode. I mean, every episode just leaves you wanting more of the next episode. The question I have is for Slayer, right? What role does she play? She obviously knows that they're all variants. She obviously she didn't seem surprised that the timekeepers weren't actual timekeepers, like they were robots. So she knows who's really in charge, but she was a hunter at one point. So how does she go from a hunter to now actually being to the point where she knows everything, where she's in charge?
I think maybe, Loki, and I'm still thinking Loki's in charge. I think at some point he had to confide in somebody to keep this charade going. And so she knows... He put her in charge. She's in charge, and I think she knows. And I mean, obviously, she knows she's keeping everything under wraps. But I mean, maybe she just didn't like. Maybe her life on the Sacred Timeline is a variant. She doesn't want to go back to. So unlike Mobius, who said he'd want to go back to where he was. Maybe she was plucked from a timeline that was she didn't like her life, and she likes her life now, and she doesn't want to go back to whatever it was.
So have we ever seen on the show so far a variant and the actual person, or two variants who look alike?
Not on the show. We've never seen two variants at the same time. We've seen pictures of other Lokis.
Yeah, but have we actually seen? So the question is, maybe there is no such thing as variants. These are just people who Loki kidnapped to work in this fake world of his that he can rule over, that he has power over, but he really doesn't have. There are no such thing as variant timelines, protecting a timeline, right? Maybe there is no sacred timeline.
Oh, that's a good thought, because you would think that I guess they don't know their own identities, like the Hunters and Mobius. You don't know if that's... I mean, the Hunters don't even have real names. They're just Hunter B-15
they're numbers.
Mobius has a name. Not sure where he got it. Ravonna has a name. But you would think that at some point, wouldn't... If they are variants and there's other versions of themselves that are out there on the Sacred Timeline, wouldn't it... At no point did these other variants come into contact with their other selves. So,
exactly.
You're right. I mean... The Sacred Timeline could be like an illusion in and of itself too.
Like Mobius, Loki goes off. He variants so many times that apparently there's a bunch of variant Lokis. How is it that there are no other multiple variants of Mobius or B-15 or Ramona who they've come into contact later and seen? Like, oh my God, this variant looks just like me.
I bet you it's... The point of the TVA is just to make sure other Lokis don't try to take over the TVA.
Exactly. That's all it is.
I mean, the name of the show is Loki, and so I think the TVA was created to make sure. I'm sure at some point Loki found out who the timekeepers were, the TVA exists, but there's runes on the wall. So it's just the reason nothing works there is because somebody put runes on the walls. And I don't know. I mean, Loki learned from Sylvie how to enchant people. So his other version must know magic too. I mean, magic isn't like specific to just. I mean, Agatha Harkness knew magic and could rune stuff. Scarlet Witch could ruin things as well. So maybe Loki, just the TVA, is just, you know, it's like its own hex to where everything's ruined, time works differently there, and he just uses these people to make sure that no other Lokis, because that's basically, it sounds like their only goal, just to make sure other Lokis don't mess up his timeline.
It seems like Lokis are the only ones that they really go hard after. Everybody cares about. You don't really know why. They didn't destroy them. Once you, like you said, once they allowed them to escape from that planet without any real reason why, and they're always saying, like, we have to find this Loki and every other Loki. They called it a career case stopping Sylvie. Is she the only Loki they've been chasing this long?
Yeah, it makes she's the only Loki that I guess had been there and gotten away. So yeah, it's a little confusing. I guess we'll find out next week. 6 more days to wait. If you have theories of your own, leave comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. The best way to support this channel, to support us, what we're doing, is to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button.
Subscribe.
It's free. It just costs that. That's all. Just hit that subscribe button, all right? How much does this cost? Boop, it doesn't cost anything.
That's pretty easy,
actually. Yeah, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, tune in for more episodes of the Loki Legal breakdown as we break down more Easter eggs after I rewatch it a couple times.
Yeah, gotta watch it again.
We'll break down some more things that you might have missed. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time. Episode 5 coming soon.
Episode 5 coming soon.
Can't wait.